voice. Well, you manually turn it on, you
Well,
have to manually turn it on, but when it comes to testing,
right,
you voice activate it. And then you hit the playback. I hit the playback button, it plays it for like 1 second and cuts it right off. And I'm like, why did it do that? Because even the light on it goes out.
that's unusual.
Very, very. And I know how to use this.
All right, I already hit the record, so. You have to do this, right?
Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3, testing, 1, 2, 3.
What about these screens,
The system's
the
down.
system down?
So we have it set up on the small computer right here.
All
You
right,
can see you on the computer, so Zoom will be on and it's recording as well.
all right,
You know, we always have our backup plan,
all right.
and I told Pat also do it on like whatever it's called.
Close that door. I mean, I opened that door.
Somebody wants to.
No, the door is locked.
Oh,
Put that bag by it.
I
So
did.
people get in.
She did.
I
You
did.
did. Brother Smith, how you doing? How you doing, young man? Good to see you. All right.
The Zoom zone, the regular zone is not working. But yeah. Of course.
They want. They want to make it.
Yeah, give me one. I left the other one at home. I thought I was in here, but I left it at home.
The color is good.
They
Well,
are
that-
wonderful things.
Well, yeah, sometimes that's what it takes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good thing I have a daughter that's makeup artist.
Thank you.
Wherever I need it.
They called her, so. We got a form, whether she comes or not.
I don't think I count for your quorum to the committee because I'm not on it. But the two of you do.
Yes, ma'am. Definitely appreciate you attending. Ms. Parker, have we heard from Madam Stevenson or Gowdy?
Have not heard from either.
Miss Gowdy said she was coming.
Okay, well, we on time, we still.
Ms. Stevenson does not usually come to committee meetings that she's not on,
Absolutely.
so that would be my assumption. But who knows what?
Here she is. Hey, Gowdy.
Madam Gowdy. Hello there. Get Joker started.
How you doing, Paul?
Hey,
Huh?
getting your
Oh,
phone shit.
goodness. Hey, how you doing? All right.
Hey there, how you doing?
How are you?
Doing okay?
I'm doing okay. Tired.
Okay, that's what it is.
Tired. Rushing,
I can tell.
rushing.
Okay, the mayor is gonna be in, I don't see his vehicle outside.
Is the mayor coming?
I haven't seen, I didn't see his, I got you right.
Oh.
I didn't see his vehicle outside.
I didn't see it was on Smith.
Well, I don't think it really.
Release there.
This is real in-house. Okay, Madam Clerk. Time is 6:30. The city of, time is 6:30. The date is October 11th, Tuesday, 2022. The City of East Cleveland Personnel and Appointments Committee meeting is now called to order. Madam Clerk, can you call the roll, please?
Council Bohoviac,
Present.
Council Gowdy,
Present.
Council Smith,
Present.
Council Martin.
Present.
Really want to thank Councilwoman Blahoviak for joining us today. On this committee is Councilman Smith, Councilman Martin, and Councilwoman Gowdy. So really appreciate Dr. Pat Blahoviak joining us today.
Thank you much.
Yes, ma'am. Roll call. Remarks from the public, 2 minutes on agenda items only, on Zoom or in person. Hearing none. Well, I'll wait a couple seconds. Here, thank you.
Oh, it's not working.
Oh, okay. Hearing none. If you all don't mind, I'd like to say our prayers have been answered. We looking at our great clerk, Madam Tracy, so we really appreciate you and your family joining us tonight. Appreciate you. On tonight's agenda, we have current council office issues. Let me first state that this is not an opportunity to come down on one another. This is an effort to smooth out, solve, and rectify a few in-house issues that we have currently in the council office. There are a few allegations that has been brought to my attention as the chair of the Personnel and Appointments Committee, chair, and also brought to the attention of all council members. We had this type of, I'd say, dialogue before, and we were praying that it would end there. But to each and every one of our knowledge, it has not ended there. So I don't even know where to start. We have allegations of unwanted touching. We have allegations of not doing proper minutes correctly. We just have a lot of allegations, and I would like each council member or member of the office, meaning our two clerks, let's put all discrepancies on the table as it relates to our office and the complaints that we all have been hearing for the past too long. We can start with Councilwoman Blahoviak, please, if you will.
Well, fortunately, the touching hasn't been an issue now for the last, I can't remember, month or so, maybe a little longer. I really don't have the dates in front of me because I wasn't expecting to talk about that today. So I do believe that there has been some improvement there. The minutes, I think, should be discussed as the minutes are brought up for approval. And again, I don't see that as part of, I see that as accuracy of function rather than something that should come up in a committee meeting. And so I don't have that with me. I do have some papers that I brought. Can you pass these over? And
You got one.
on your last personnel and appointment committee agenda, there was a discussion of the handbook, but you ended up deciding that the other things on the agenda were I think more important. I don't remember longer to discuss. At any rate, that was not discussed in the last one. And I'm not trying to say that this is any statement of what you should or shouldn't have done, just a statement of fact that it was not discussed. And I am concerned
Come on.
that in the handbook,
Cindy,
it stated that. I'm sorry.
let the record reflect this, Shamika Burton,
Yes.
from our HR person. Mr. Chairman,
Yes, thank you. Our apologies, Dr. Pratt.
Yeah, sorry about that.
that's okay.
Okay, at any rate, there's a statement in there. And that, certain elements that are discussed are not to be public items, but anything that comes into the council office is by definition public, and it is something that is subject to open records, subject to open meetings, all that sort of thing. So that the handbook needs to be, in my mind, discussed at length. And not just, this minimal discussion here. Also, during the last council meeting, if I recall correctly, you promised Mr. Omaze that he would have certain records after the meeting. And he went to the council office and there was a lot of yelling and he was told he couldn't have those records. And then I asked for those records so that I could get them to Omaze, and he and I was refused those too. And as I recall, I asked the next day whether he had received those records, and I was told that he had not. So the next item, the third item on my list here is not necessarily a problem. I think it's just something that hasn't been done yet. And I went in and Ms. Parker was transcribing the General Services Administration Committee meeting minutes. And she said the beginning was fine, and then it got too difficult to understand so that she couldn't transcribe it. So I offered, well, first I asked to listen to it. And my sense was that it was something that, given my hearing and my understanding and having been at the meeting, that I could have transcribed those from the recording that was there. So I offered to do that. And Ms. Parker said that, and I asked for a copy of the recording so that I could do that. And she said that she'd have to ask Ms. Virginia Peters. And so I don't know whether she's been able to transcribe those at this point in time, or whether she's been able to make a copy of the recording for me at this point in time. But My purpose there is just to make sure it gets done, no matter who does it and how that happens.
Okay, so. This is a big reason of why we here, because we heard about this situation,
Which
And,
situation, which part of it are you? referring to?
number 2 and 3.
Uh-huh.
With number 1, the handbook, I agree with you wholeheartedly. That's why I didn't discuss it last meeting, because it needs to be discussed at length. So I totally, we on the same page, same boat on that. Number 2 and number 3.
I
So-
would like to,
Yeah,
if you don't mind. I would
absolutely.
like
That's
to
what I'm-
address
that's what I'm
item
getting to.
number 2.
That's what I'm getting to, Ms. Parker, please. That's exactly what I'm getting to. On number 2 and number 3, it was addressed that. And well, actually, when I was talking about putting hands on someone, I actually wasn't talking about the situation. With the, I don't even want to say with the president, because I don't really think he put hands. I know he didn't put hands on anyone in that form or fashion.
Well, I know that he did, so.
Okay, I understand. I was talking about the allegation that you, please, thank you,
Yeah,
I
okay,
appreciate you,
all right.
that you put hands on our deputy clerk as a result of being upset that
Oh,
Mr. Mays didn't get his paperwork, I guess, in the timely manner that you all would want. So I would like this to come from our deputy clerk, and so Ms. Parker, the floor is yours.
Thank you.
And before you start, we're all here adults, and we have to respect each other. If you have the floor, you have the floor. If Ms. Bovee has the floor, she has the floor. That's not interrupting. Let's conduct this like we're intelligent people. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right.
Now, regarding Ms. Lahoviac's, Council Lahoviac's statements regarding what happened with Mr. O'Mays and how I was disrespectful to him, how I was raising my voice. It all started with him being in council chambers when council meeting was over. Everyone in here had left the room while I was cleaning up and putting the cords back under the tables. I did not realize Mr. O'Mays was still the only person in here. While I was on the floor, I heard a voice tell me, I'm still here. I looked up from the floor and I didn't even know anyone was in the room. He's telling me he's still here and he's waiting for his copy. And I told him I'm cleaning up the room. So I politely asked him, if it was on record, you would know, I did politely ask him to please leave the room so I could finish cleaning up. He refused. I asked him multiple times, nicely, to leave the room. There was no one else in the courtroom, and people that are like that tend to make me a little nervous. I didn't want to forget anything in here as I'm new to this. So I continued to politely, as I was cleaning up, politely asked him, could he wait out in the hall with everyone else who was still out in the hallway? He refused. That made me a little nervous. So I finished in here. He followed me out. He cut the lights off. And as I'm going through the security door, which was at that moment being held open by Counselor Kareem Stevenson, and if I'm not mistaken, HR Samika Burton had already just came out of that door. And she said, Miss Stevenson, Counselor Stevenson, caught the door and held it open. So that part is fact. Then I walked through the door with all of my belongings after locking the courtroom, walked down the hall, not knowing I was being followed by Mr. O'Mays and Counselor Bohoviac, because I had asked him to wait in the lobby. I would bring him his copy immediately. So I get to the council office, I sit my belongings down, then I look up and who's coming through the door besides Counselor Stevenson, who got her mail, besides Counselor Bohoviac, who I believe got her mail as well. Then comes sashaying into the room was Mr. O'Mays, who I immediately, he was getting on my nerves at that point. making me feel uncomfortable. It's after hours. He had no right coming through that secure door. No right whatsoever. He's making me nervous. And I asked him repeatedly to please leave. Now he starts raising his voice to me. And of course, I start raising my voice back, insisting that he leave. Now, maybe I wasn't as professional as I could, but how many times do you have to tell a person to please leave? He was making me feel uncomfortable. And at that point, he's going to call me a liar about the courtroom, how I politely asked him to leave. There was no reason to raise my voice at that time. I just asked him nicely, could he leave and wait out in the hallway with everybody else? He's calling me a liar about that. So he's calling me a liar. You're not saying a word, Councilwoman Holiak. You're letting him berate me in front of my coworker yourself. I didn't appreciate that at all. I'm already uncomfortable with him. You're not saying one word to get him out of the room or to calm him down, just me. Then your motion to me is you grab my wrist and you tell me, Pat, calm down. Lower your voice. Be professional. Those were your exact words as you had my wrist. Then you let go. And I'm pointing by that time for him to leave the room. Then he tells me to go to hell. Point blank. And again, you're not saying anything to him. You're letting him berate me. Whether there was anyone else around, you let your friend berate me. And I don't appreciate that. And it's after hours. And I'm not comfortable with him being there. So this is what actually happened. So since he wouldn't leave, I insisted, I'm going to go get the police and have them escort you out of here. And that's just what I did. I went down to get the police. By the time I got there, I'm hearing a voice talking to Council Martin. And I turn around and it proves to me that he came out. So I went back to the office and I did not make a copy. He's going to insist to me. He's going to berate me and tell me what to do. No, that's not going to happen. I'm as professional as I can be, but I'm not going to accept that from anybody.
Point of order.
Yes, thank you, Ms. Pettit, Dr. Pettit.
Just to clarify, I did not enter the council office with Ms. Stevenson and Mr. Mays. I was not there at that point in time. I did not hear O'Mays berating Ms. Parker. I did not hear O'Mays tell Ms. Parker to go to hell. If those things happened, they happened before I entered the room. When I entered the room, there were 3 people in the office, Ms. Parker, Councilor Stevenson, and Mr. Mays. And what I heard mostly was Ms. Parker yelling and going on and on and on about how we needed to leave the room. And I did not see any of the others. I did not touch her. I did not, I was not there to tell him to stop doing anything, because all he was doing was saying he wanted to wait there for his copies, which without the context of the statements that Ms. Parker alleges that he made, I didn't see anything wrong with that. Now, with that context, that's a different thing, because that makes it sound to me as if he was being inappropriate, but I did not hear him be inappropriate what I heard was a lot of noise from this culprit, a lot of noise. And Mr. Mays was requesting the copies that he said that you had promised him. And when she said she wouldn't give him the copies, then I asked if she would give me the copies as a kind of way of compromising the whole situation. Okay, let's create a little bit of distance, but let's still give him what he feels that he was promised. But I definitely did not go in with the others. I came later.
Thank you. I'd like to acknowledge the presence of our law director, Councilwoman Gowdy. The floor is yours.
Yeah, first of all, it's so disrespectful for Omaze, knowing that it's after hours to go back there. City Hall is closed already at a certain time. So for him to go back there to harass her verbally, that's what it is, verbal abuse. Because he kept yelling at her. And for you to say that you was not back there, it's too unbelievable. I just don't believe nothing you say. Because you always lying about something. You lie all the time. I believe that you held her hand. Because you do it often when you talking to people. I have experienced that with my own two eyes, how you act in public and outside of public. And I have noticed that you did other people like that. I'm not gonna mention no names. And also, it's the respect of your employee. You don't have no respect. It's like you allowed this to happen in spite of what you say that you did not hear, but you were there all the time. And you know, cameras do talk. I know it's a video and I know it's cameras. And if you are on that camera, then we're gonna have to make a decision of your behavior. You know, it have to go deeper than this because the emails that they have been sending in the past, definitely the emails is off the chain.
Yes.
That's enough to drive anybody up the wall. I don't even see how they still being in these seats. That's what they trying to do is run y'all out of your seats, out of City Hall, off of your job. Because if you keep on sending petty emails after they kept telling you, you got this, you got that, and you still send an email, that right there is harassment. And this has been going on too long. This ain't the first time. This is not the second time. We just happen to have this talk this time. But it keeps happening over and over again. And one of our clerks ended up being in a hospital. One of our clerks ended up being in the hospital over stuff that y'all been sending. You and Stevenson, and you did this at other places. And let me tell you something, the school board is so glad that you was on. You did them so wrong, like you doing us. This is not a time and a place for this. This is a business matter, not a personal matter. If you got something personal going on with one of the employees or something, you need to talk it out. All this emailing and all this holding her hands, which I believe you did. I believe you did because I know how you react on certain things and I know how you can get outrageous. This is so abusive. Verbal abuse, natural abuse, abuse is abuse. The emails can become
Abusive.
abusive, you know. So you might have some charges getting ready to come on you, and I can't help it because you have did this so many times that it become a habit. It become normal to you to act like this towards people, and this is not normal at all.
I want to say something.
Absolutely, for the record, because it's the same subject, I was also, again, I want to thank the people of East Cleveland for balling this garbage up when it comes to their doorstep and on the back of this, and it comes from my council colleague,
No, it doesn't.
Counselor Ernest Smith physically assaulted
No,
an
it
80-year-old senior citizen, which they talking about slapping Otis Mays in the face. They keep bringing up old stuff that didn't work. I'll be glad when they use something different. 2 police officers on each side, 2 police officers in the hallway in a room full of people,
Okay,
and I slapped this man.
yeah, well, you didn't do that.
Councilman Martin.
Do I have the floor, or you out of order, do I have the floor?
Yes, sir.
Okay, the bottom line with number 2 is, we have 2 clerks. We have a big sign saying you can't enter the office. If a clerk tells anybody that they can't enter, they can't enter.
Right.
That's the bottom line.
And it's
Okay,
not
he
right.
can't force himself in there. And now we know he's been on council and all like that, but if he was told to not enter the office, he's not supposed to enter the office. Period. It's that simple. Don't we have a sign out there saying you cannot enter the
At-
office?
At a certain
Yeah.
time, you ain't.
Right,
supposed
you
to
can't
be
enter
out
the
there
office. You know, and-
Unless you allowed to go back there, buy one of us.
right, in terms of, well, he could have got the document another day,
Yeah,
okay, but he can't just force himself in office.
and she kept saying, I'm uncomfortable, you
Right,
know, she
right.
kept saying that, you know, and come on now. How many times does she have to continue to say, I don't feel comfortable talking to you in that tone of voice, you know, Omaze can go there too, you know.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, it
Yeah.
wasn't like a conversation. This was not no normal conversation. This was verbal conversation. So it's sad. It's really sad.
And I wanna, these allegations that pop up on these emails going on over a year. Most of them are not true. There's somebody slanting them their way, okay? Okay, you feel me? All right.
Well, our senior clerk came a long way, so we would love to hear from Miss Tracy Peters, please. She should be home resting,
Right.
but this is how important this matter
This
is.
is very important.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately. We have to do what we have to do. Pat kept me informed of some of the things that were going on, and it's sad, it's really sad. Like you said, we went through this back in March, and at that time, we had Mr. Anderson. And, and a lot of things were projected towards him and then myself. Some of these things we can still get past, we really can.
Yeah.
This is always the best venues to sit and talk it out, we can always get past things. The one thing that I want to clarify, the recording from the little handheld recorder, well, we're sort of going back archaic. Pat doesn't know how to, that one I have to actually download onto the computer off of that. Then I have to save it as another type of file.
Right.
And then we can put it on a CD for you.
And that's
She's
what-
not aware, right,
as far as
right.
I'm concerned, this is just something that's in process.
Right, so that you'll have that. I'll be back next week. You'll have it, no problem. It's just that little, well, it's just,
If you're ready, we.
yeah, well, they said, no, I can still come back and I'll still work from home a few days, but no, I'm still going to, I'm cardiac rehab. I'm actually getting bored at home, don't, my husband will shoot me. Don't say that, but that's why I'm still like this week working on stuff from home and that. But that's with that recording.
And that's fine, I just
Okay,
put that there to get the update on.
okay, yeah, you'll have that. One of the major concerns, like we said, with the emails going back and forth. Sometimes one counselor doesn't get to see the whole email chain, and they might see something and come in a little bit late. I wish Miss Stevenson would have been here, because we keep trying to go back and forth and get through some of this stuff. Well, the last email, it was in regards to legislation 5722 and the September 20th meeting. That was Pat's, where she sort of flew on her own, but I was monitoring it from at home. And I was at that meeting, the 9/20. Well, when she was saying that, you couldn't hear parts of the audio, the Zoom. Well, unfortunately, until we get our new desk and that's going to happen. But if you have external speakers on the computer, when you're listening to it, you can actually hear exactly what was said. If you're just listening from your laptop with the internal with the speakers, it's a little bit difficult, but that portion is there. I heard the whole thing. So when Counselor Stevenson had stated that everybody voted, and in fact, they hadn't, I always start with the newest member first, and you're the newest member, Counselor Bohoviac, and you had abstained at that time. And that's when you can see me turn and tell the counselors, well, it's really not fair at this point to try and move forward. We don't have two counselors here. And to abstain, that's really not a vote, yay or nay. I kept giving you that option, and you said you didn't have enough information. So that's why I had recommended that it be tabled until all the counselors, then if it got voted up or down, it was, just more of equitable playing field. So that's what had transpired. And they did say that they were going to table it until the following meeting. So Counselor Martin and Counselor Gowdy did not vote on it, although prior in the discussions, they said they were for it and that they would be voting for it, but they didn't actually get to vote. I didn't call them to vote.
Right.
So when Counselor Stevenson had sent that lengthy email accusing council of being, at that point, that you guys were, it was corrupt, that it constitutes flagrant fraud, theft in office, dereliction of duty, corruption.
Wait,
That's when council president said, go back and listen to that point. So I did. And I sent it out and I said, this is exactly what happened. It was about not quite 5 minutes. And I said how the vote went and everything else. Well, at that point, I get an email back from Counselor Stevenson, and this was, to be polite, snarky. I don't know if she actually reads her emails before she resends them out, but she wrote, good evening. I am so sorry, but it is so highly unlikely that everyone in the meeting and all the other communications on this subject disagree with your summation. Isn't this the second time that you have insisted that we, as grown intelligent people, did not hear what we heard or see what we saw? So is all of this an illusion that must be described to us by others than our own capable mind? Well, thank you for that interpretation. I could have responded again, but it's like, I'm going to shut her down. My response should have been, no, yes, this is the second time, and I was correct the first time. Everything was verbatim. This was when I did what council president asked, it was an attempt to say clarification. This is exactly what happened. That's why it's still on there. But then I guess she had called Pat on the phone and was yelling at Pat about it, which, everybody gets a little bit upset. But if you have something to say to another counselor, you call that counselor yourself and yell at them. You don't want to yell at me or at Pat. So there was a problem with that. So like I said, I was only doing as I was requested. I was at home, so I was listening to it. And then, like last week, the meeting, that sort of set me back a little bit. That when you had stated you called the Ethics Commission FBI because you thought somebody was messing around with the recordings. Well, if you read the charter, and the charter stipulates, so I took real great offense to that one. Let me see, I put this down here. The charter is very, very specific that all the recordings fall under, the charter states that the clerk of council has exclusive custody of all recordings and of, tapes. So basically what you were saying on the record, you were accusing me of doing illegal things in the office by that statement. I don't know if you realize that that's how it came across, but it's like, that portion is not missing. And if you use earphones or external speakers, it is there. So this just sort of adds to things when we're saying things and we don't realize what we're saying. But, to say that on the record that, that we're messing around with the recordings, that could be further from the truth, or tampering with them. The main recordings, it's up on the Zoom platform and it's up in the cloud. So it could be downloaded again at any time. And unfortunately, like you said, the acoustics in here really isn't the greatest. And sometimes you can't hear a lot, but there's a way when you finagle it around, and I can show you one day. If you use external speakers sometimes, and that's what we have to do, there's portions of it. You'll see us at our desk, we're turning it real loud, then you can hear it. But there's nothing missing from any of that tape. So it was all there. So that's why I wanted to come out, because, being the custodian of the records, that put me in a bad light. I'm hoping it wasn't done intentionally. I think it was just the way it was stated, but that's how it's basically accusing me of mismanaging our recordings, which is furthest from the thing. So that's about all I have at this point in time.
Thank you. Madam Law Director.
Yes, yeah,
Pick
we
up,
recognize
pick up
this, chair.
Yes, yes.
Yes, ma'am, Madam Law Director, Willa Harris.
Just carelessly and irresponsibly level serious allegations. I mean, tampering with evidence.
Yeah.
Tampering with records is a felony 3. One could get up to 3 years for it. So out of respect and regard for the feelings of others, as well as a sense of accountability and responsibility for yourself, please don't just haphazardly level high-level felony charges against someone, because that really ultimately decreases one's own credibility, regard, and the respect that people will have in the future for one's statements and one's opinions. So I just want to put that out there so that in the future, we have that information in. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Law Director.
Oh, when she,
You know, this,
that's-
you know, this issue really take myself out of, I'm talking about concerning our clerks and our colleagues. It really saddens me because, I mean, I understand politics and politics, and stick to legislation, stick to, maybe you want to say someone not doing something in the community, that's okay. But all this, as Madam Law Director said, all these felony allegations is ridiculous. I mean, no disrespect. Even if you didn't hand out one piece of paper, I have you on camera saying that how did you say it? I accosted a 81-year-old resident. And he said right there in that hallway that I did not slack it the same way. And I thank the young man who stood up right here in this council chambers and said, I did not transport underage females. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. You messing up, you trying to mess up people's lives. And thank God that the residents know our clerks. And thank God, I believe the majority of them believe in me as far as not doing this garbage. It's ridiculous. But again, I'm more concerned right now about our clerks and how can we rectify this situation? I mean, the camera shows different than what I heard here tonight. I'm not a judge. I'm not a jury. I'm just trying to get along to serve the health interest, rights, and needs of the people. We don't have to roast marshmallows together. We don't have to do any of that together. But the phone calls I get from the people that help us the most around here, you know, they being real humble tonight. But I mean, the phone calls, I'm sure all of us get. The emails, the phone calls, me personally, I don't think that they get treated right by 2 of our council members. And I don't want to bring this, I'm just saying, I've seen this happen with past clerks and the agenda to get rid of. I mean, Councilwoman Stevenson brought in the last clerk and made sure that she ran her up out of here. When she learned her job and learned that she's not only Councilwoman Stevenson's clerk, but she's everyone's clerk. And once that former clerk found out how to do her job correctly, it seems that at the time, Madam President didn't like that. I wish she was here so I could say the same thing in her presence. But one person that does stand on her words usually is Dr. Patty. She's here, but again, we're not here to jump on her. We're just here to try to find some type of solution. And again, there's accusation of grabbing. There's accusation. I mean, our clerk is actually afraid of Otis Mays, and that's unacceptable. I mean, we don't like. From the time I've been around before the council, I know that people sitting here, we don't like to ban residents from our council chambers and our city hall, but it can happen. Now, I know if he was here, I'm a resident, you can't kick me out of city hall. We are elected officials, and believe me, we can ban what we want to from this city hall if it's in relation, if it's necessary, and if it's in relation to harming or scaring one of our clerks and jeopardizing the safety of anyone in this building. The same way if Dr. Peck, if someone was jeopardizing her safety, we would have to look the same way she accused our president of jeopardizing her safety, and think, a lot of us were there at the times when the claims came down, so we were able to see it for ourselves that we feel that no one is in jeopardy when Council Martin speaks to them, and I mean, and touch their shoulder. I understand. We all understand. Some people don't like being touched, but that's not sexual. That's thing. Those type of allegations can land people in the penitentiary. So I'll just ask that. I mean, maybe you don't like how someone voted, so you can use that. But all these allegations of trying to put people in the penitentiary and our children and our husbands and wives have to see this crap. It's ridiculous. It's the same thing that we were hearing. Like I can speak on me and Councilwoman Gotti. The same things that we were hearing before we got here. All the politics that's going on, this and that. And we thought we got rid of that when we got rid of the ones that was trying to sell us out. Matter of fact, I believe we were doing good for a few years until certain circumstances. And so it was to the point where the people were putting up their popcorn because the meetings were getting boring, meaning we were doing what we were supposed to do. What they didn't pick back up their popcorn, they got their bowl of nachos now. They don't even have their pop, they got their beers and their drinks, and it's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. You have people out in the community working hard and with no recognition, no money. Then you have the people here that supposed to serve the health interest, rights, and needs of the people, and they just here for their own personal gain, and it's ridiculous. I mean, everyone don't have to agree with me on that, but again, thank God the majority of the people see it. I mean, you conspire to. I mean, we haven't had a Democratic Club meeting since the changing of the guard. Just for our two council people personal gain, they put a alleged woman assaulter. Who this is not even alleged. He assaulted a woman right here in the hollow grounds of City Hall, and they had the nerve to put him in there for their own personal benefit. So I just thank the people of East Cleveland for paying attention. Even when they had a popcorn, they still watching. I see some online now. So I really want to thank you all for that. Again, we're not here to jump on anyone. The law it's in the law's hands now as far as the grabbing of the arm and the yelling at our clerks and this and that. It makes me sad.
I really want you to know that Tracy and Patricia Parker, that I'm sorry that this happened to y'all. I really is, because you know what, this is a bullying. That's bullying. And that's not good at all. And then to have saying in front of everybody like it's normal. I got the FBI all up in here. The FBI, what's the FBI? So you know what you're doing. She's a grown woman. She know what she's doing.
Yeah, she knows what she's doing.
She know exactly what she's doing. It's not no excuse, and it has to stop today. If it don't stop today, then we're gonna have to, as council people, write up charges on her. Because right is right, wrong is wrong. Harassment is wrong. And it causes heart attacks, causes strokes. You can't function with your family when you get off of work. I mean, and then you have to drive home. Who want all this stuff on you when you leave home? I mean, leave this building, somebody always saying something negative. Don't have nothing positive to say. You know, this is just a negative bully reaction, you know? And to say that you got the FBI in here, you know, you said that and you meant what you said. You know, so it's not no mistake what they doing. This is purposely done. They doing this on purpose. So it needs to stop today. And if it don't stop today, we're gonna have to write up something to make it stop, because they will have to be removed some kind of way, because now, or even if they have to go on Zoom, you know, away from y'all, we're going to have to do something solid. Because they are a threat to the clerks.
I'd like to hear from the human resources. Can you give some perspective on this kind of stuff? What do you see there?
Well, in regards to, Ms. Tracy and also Ms. Pat, I've received numerous, emails and, complaints regarding, council, our council, some of our council people, specifically, I don't know if I should say names or not, but, as Councilwoman Gotti was stating, this is harassment. It is harassment. A lot of this slander has went around, and these accusations that, you know, are made. And it does, it causes a lot of stress. I am not directly, but I'm indirectly affected because I get all of this information, right? And so as a human resources director, there's things that I have to do in my life that falls, you know, for the safety of our staff,
Right.
the harassment policy that we have, with Mr. O'May's entering into, you know, the quarters after hours was unacceptable because it's the safety of everybody else in this building. Things that are done on numerous occasions to Tracy. Now we have a new council clerk.
Yeah.
And this is, you know, happening to her. So,
Yeah. I had that man.
it's very unprofessional. It's embarrassing. I've had conversation, you know, one thing about me, I started here in April, but I worked at other agencies. I've worked at other municipalities. And the things that I am seeing here is very unprofessional.
Right.
It is. And it shouldn't be allowed. And I don't understand how we all work in one city and one agency and we cannot get along. Yes, it's embarrassing. The emails that come through,
Please.
that telecommunication.
Yeah.
We just can't have that. We just have to really be mindful. And the harassment is a very serious charges. And it is.
I spoke about the emails coming to our clerks. And I had to intercede and send out not only Monday through Friday, but Saturday and Sunday,
All
11
the-
o'clock at night, or just like no respect at all. And I sent them, do not email them on Saturdays and Sundays. They still do. Okay, so it's a disrespect here. And if this continues, we're gonna go to court with this. Okay.
We will.
All right, just like I'm up at the library, and I'm gonna get this out. Library full of people. I touch your shoulder. 2 days later, it's sexual harassment. It's dumb stuff, you know. But I know what's behind it. They want me out of the way
When
for
everybody
their
has
own
a
reasons.
place.
Okay, you know. But then I read these emails and I just shake my head. So what the hell is this? What the hell is this? It's unprofessional and it's accusations from the way they want to twist this, you know. So it's got to stop. If Old Mays is told not to enter the office, he can't, he's no longer a council.
She's the clerk.
She's the
Yeah.
clerk, both clerks.
Yeah,
Okay,
deputy clerk
Right.
and clerk.
And those doors are locked for a reason.
After,
I just ask that we be mindful. I don't have any personal gain. I'm non-biased to this. As the HR director, I don't do politics. I do
Right.
employees.
Right.
And that's it. And so Pat and Ms. Tracy are employees of the city. So there are certain things that I have to uphold with them.
Okay.
Intimidation, it's, it's small things, so speaking of policies and just like in the real world, I mean, the outside world, you're not supposed to go in other people's mailboxes.
Right. Look,
You're not supposed to go in other people's mailboxes here, and if our great clerks tell you, I will make you a copy. Be
We went in the
patient.
mailbox.
She went in my mailbox,
you know about the whole year.
yes, took the staple off,
Okay.
made her some copies.
Yeah.
And Miss Plant and Clerk Pat is sitting right there, but you're just not patient enough to wait till our clerk make you 50
Right, but
copies.
she
So
gonna
you
take
put
it.
my mailbox,
Oh, man.
Oh,
Yes.
she just pulled it out and handed it to me.
Oh.
They're still in that
She
box.
makes the copy.
okay,
But where was it at? Where was it at? Was it in his mailbox?
It's been-
so.
All right.
It was
Change
his
that. She didn't
mailbox,
make
and
the
she
copy.
went
She
into
in
the
my
mailbox.
Yes, our residents, yes.
My name is Walter Good Senior. I got the program Voices for My People, SOS, Save Our Sons and Daughters. Well, Hoviak, I done got you a meeting with the mayor when you wanted a meeting with the mayor, and you lied to me.
Right.
So you saying that you didn't grab her wrist, it's on camera. So why you in here lying in front of the people and on the computer, the people on the computer? My thing is, if you're unhappy with the job, if you're unhappy with the city, move, leave. Cause what y'all doing, y'all bullying their employees, it should be somewhere in that sunshine law to get rid of you. You bullying the reason that she been so stressed out and had to go to the hospital is because you and your little partner. Then you out here, man, and you put bad things out about Ernest. I watched that video when you got up on that platform and you started to talk about Ernest, and Ernest was cleared of all charges. I would sue you. See, one thing about me, got good lawyers. I would sue you for everything you got if it was me. If I was Ernest, I have a lawsuit against you. If I was her, Miss Parker, I have a lawsuit against you. The things that you doing in this city, you doing what you said you wasn't gonna do when I talked to you. Oh, I'm gonna do my job. I'm gonna do what I'm supposed to do. You doing the same thing you did on the school board.
That's right.
Listen, let me tell you something. I stand for the people. What's your name in Ward 4? Don't do nothing in Ward 4. I got them houses knocked down in Ward 4. Voice for My People did that. I got that trash and everything removed over there. Voice for My People did that. And I'm gonna tell y'all something. Y'all need to go ahead and leave, man, out this council and just go ahead and quit. Go ahead and quit, because the people don't want y'all. All the people that y'all might be dealing with, them other people, man, that sit back and watch everything that's going on, that sit back and talk to the mayor, the other council people now, they don't want y'all. You probably got about 30% of the city that want to deal with you and your little partner. Everything that y'all been doing, man, y'all not only is y'all hurting them, y'all hurting us. We looking for investors to come in to want to rebuild our city. Y'all pushing against it. Why? Because your own personal greed. Your own personal greed. Everybody got a reason why they want to be on council. You ain't really get on council to help the people. You wanted to help yourself. You wanted to get out here, man, and start stuff, man. I used to like you and believe in you. Now I see you a big liar. Because when I got that meeting with the mayor, and that hurt my feelings, because I really liked you. And I don't like nobody, man. Two things I hate most in this world is a liar and a thief. And you lied to me to my face. You and Frambo's. I got the meeting for Frambo's. He didn't even show up to the meeting.
Yeah.
Then he steady out there. Y'all out there in the parking lot the other night. Think I don't know. Y'all had people in the parking lot putting all them flyers all over the cars when the mayor had his dinner.
I didn't.
You had your people out there though. You part of it. You part of it. You part of it too. And y'all get wrong. I'm here to tell y'all today, y'all need to stop. Because y'all ain't seen the power of the people. Y'all work for us. We don't work for y'all. And you ain't seen the power of the people stand up yet. I haven't flexed my wings to get the people started yet. Y'all need to go ahead and resign. Because y'all lying to the people, man. Y'all lying to the people, man. You lied to me and I tell the world you lied to me. And I used to like you, man. Now, man, I'm very disappointed in you, man. Then the people that stood up for you and that lady to get in, ooh, I know they hurting right now.
I know
They thought this y'all was gonna be good for the city. Hey, certain people want to get Joey Graham to get y'all in. Joey Graham would have still been here, her and Juanita, man. They would have been working together. They would have talked to each other about it. Y'all don't talk to them. Y'all don't sit down and have a talk and talk to each other. Y'all go behind each other back with the knives and stick at each other back.
Yeah.
The mayor, y'all try to crucify him. That house on Oak Hill, that house had asbestos in it, mold in it. And y'all get on the news and talk about, well, he tore down the house. He shouldn't tore down his house. It was his damn house.
He owned it.
He paid for it. He paid for the house. Y'all need to leave that man alone. I grew up with him and his family. That y'all take that man's skill. That man got his own money. His daddy left them well put together. What did he do? He got to steal. Then y'all calling him, saying that he bringing the young people them in here. He got cleared of all charges. Ernest, you need to be suing their ass. Stop letting them play with you, man. Stop letting them try to destroy your character. Then as far as, man, what y'all doing? Bullying. Y'all bullying the clerks. Y'all sending them email. I got some emails. It's still in my phone. Things that y'all be saying, man. Then the things you say about the mayor. Come on, man. Come on, man. You ain't right, man. But I'm gonna tell you, and I'm gonna promise you though, y'all need to go ahead and quit. I need to walk away from this because this ain't for you. This ain't for you. You might have lived in East Cleveland, but I was born and raised here. And this ain't for you, man. This job that you got, it ain't for you. Because you ain't right for that job. So I'm gonna come take your job from you. How about that?
I want to say this too. Yesterday, I went to a meeting, Harvest for Hunger, as a Salvation Army. I think there was about 300 people, the largest meeting. I've been on here for almost 30 years, the largest turnout I've ever seen. It was packed, and it covered what we're trying to do. We're moving in the right direction. With the development going on in your ward, Gowdy, the houses, we're moving in the right direction. The park, what's the group? The park.
Metro Park.
Metro Park. So we're making progress. Okay, so this negativity. Today I walked to this little store right next to Happy Pizza and picked up. Look, the guy he said, Mr. He said, Councilman Martin, did you see this? This is negative toward Ernest and one toward the mayor. We don't need that. We don't need that right now. Okay, now everybody's sitting up. People was elected a year and a half ago, so the people were satisfied. But this thing of leading recalls is counterproductive. We're moving forward. Me and Walter have met with Dr. Pettigrew. We've met with a number of people. We're trying to move forward, but it's always this little thing. They voted me out of the city leader. I've been a city leader for 10 years. But what I didn't do was I didn't ask anybody to vote for me. Because I don't have to. My record speaks for itself. I'm out there with the people. They voted to put someone else in, and I won't even get into his personality, but we know what he's about. He expects some young lady back there. We saw it, all that. It's just it's a cadre of this negativity coming from I won't even mention their names. It's got to stop. So I'm tired of this right now. I've told Tracy, Eugenia Peters, and Patricia Parker to be professional. I said, when they come in that office, be professional and deal with them the way you want to be dealt with. Okay. So this I don't know. I was called by some people from the school board talking about Miss Rohoviak, and I won't even go with some of the stuff they said about her. But I've watched her negative emails and her opinions and all like that. And I'm tired of it. I really am. So we're gonna do what we need to do. If it continues, we will deal with it. We've been dealt with it. I'll step up to help it be done.
Don't wait until it continues.
Right, we're gonna deal with it
now. Deal with
Yeah.
it now. Deal with the situation.
Right.
I talked to some people. I was in a meeting with some of the school board the other day. They talk bad about her.
Yes.
They say, man, I help y'all. They say she's a mess.
All right.
She is a mess. She's a big mess.
All right, so do we have any, yes, ma'am,
One minute.
yes, ma'am, please, absolutely.
Which might be, it's not on Homophobia list of things, but it is an item number. And it's partially has to do with the office issues. Well, fully has to do with office issues. Counselor Stevenson has requested an investigation. And I'm sure that's partially why we're here. And regarding that, she was saying that why is the office staff yelling at me through communication? Because I highlighted or bolded some items. Well, I have a few samples here for HR. A few samples where she did exactly the same thing.
You talk about Stevenson now?
Stevenson,
Okay.
right, but she's the one who requested an investigation, so.
Okay.
So what she's accusing me of, I have just a few samples of her doing it as well. So I can give that to you tonight. So she's requesting it, that's pot calling the kettle black. Cause she did it too.
Are there any last words from any?
And then it
council?
seemed like every time when we get ready to have the meetings and stuff, she even be on Zoom or don't come, you know. It's sad. I mean, but yet she got all these emails going with Councilor Patricia, you know. I guess they ganging up, you know, on the clerks, and that's what I see, you know, is bullying. And we need to deal with this because it's a problem because she don't have no remorse. Now, one
No,
time she
not at
said
all.
that
Not
I'm
at
sorry, please, I apologize. What can we do to work it out? That's why we're here. I've been waiting to hear that from her, but she don't have a conscience. And when the person don't have a conscience, they are dangerous. And I mean, really dangerous when you don't have no conscience. Because she have all the opportunity to say something and she's not saying nothing. Because whatever she's saying, she probably don't even mean it. Because if she meant it, she would have already told you. I apologize if you felt like I was sending the email all harsh and rushing y'all and just keep sending them and all that. She's not. And then I heard another thing that she said that she's mad at Tracy. I heard it because she's a Republican.
Right, what's that got to do with her job? That's none of her business.
I'm a Republican.
Okay.
It's a lot
Right.
that,
Okay.
Yeah, she's
You
mad.
did say it.
You
You did say it. You said it.
And she's a Republican.
You are
Because she shouldn't be at a Democrat meeting. So I'm just saying, we have issues with her. She had it at the school board, and God knows the library board don't want her over there. You know, she's running out of options.
So what can y'all do to get rid of them? What can y'all do? What can y'all
people
do?
do.
Well, we're gonna
We can
look
write it up.
at that, but I know.
We can write it up.
But it's a.
It's bullying. It's bullying and harassment, and that can
We're gonna look.
we're gonna
but
look into this.
I know she's talked about Tracy Republican. And
Yes.
she has no business to be in
Yes,
Tracy's
she
business.
said the Republican is
And
at the
do it right.
Democrat.
Right, which is negative stuff. Okay,
So
It's negative.
I'm sure with the allegations of grabbing,
okay,
someone from law will look into it.
all right.
I
Discrimination.
definitely was not naive enough to think that things were going to get settled tonight, but
Right,
exactly what I want to happen is everyone had a chance to get their word out. We're on the record.
right.
Is there anyone online that would like to have a word? On the line, they can just see us, but they can't speak.
No,
Okay.
yeah, that come up.
All right.
If there's anybody on. Yeah. they can-
I see a few people
A
online.
few people on here.
All right, let's hear what they have to say.
Would I just click on them? Just click on them,
Not working.
like Zaki or she,
Yeah.
click on him.
No, just ask anybody. They have to raise their hand if they have anything to say.
Does anyone have anything to say online? Anyone?
Yes,
Yes.
Esmeralda, go ahead.
yeah, I would like to say, I'm listening to the conversation and everything always has two sides. I'm hearing what you're saying, but as elected officials, from what I'm understanding, there's a problem. There are HR issues that are being discussed in public, not appropriate. If HR has a problem with staff and others, you're setting yourself up for a lawsuit. That's not appropriate. That needs to be handled internally in HR. I understand that there are difficulties. I'm on the council meetings. I listen. I see the disrespect on both sides. And I think we all need to just sit down and understand that as adults, we have to do what's right on both sides. I hear the screaming. I was at the meeting last night. And what I heard from fellow citizens, I've been in East Cleveland for 60 years. And what I heard from fellow residents and neighbors, they're tired. There's no transparency. We ask council questions. We don't get answers. We get, I don't know. It's frustrating. People are frustrated. To be honest with you, I have never gotten as much information as I've received since Dr. Bohoviak has been on council. You all don't share. You're not transparent. So we as residents are reaching for whatever we can get. And like you said, some of it's not true. We don't know that because you all don't tell us anything. So as a resident, I'm just asking you to please work your issues out. If it's something that can't be worked out, then we as voters, we elected all of you. So I just say, give us the respect as citizens that we deserve. That's all I'm asking. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm gonna let our Madam Law Director respond. We really appreciate the comment. With all due respect, this is a personnel and appointments committee meeting. This is the perfect time for this discussion. This is the meeting that's in our rule books. This is the meeting for this discussion. And I'll let our law director.
I think what the citizen is alluding to is the policy for going into an executive session with regard to certain personnel matters. That level of scrutiny or those issues weren't present today. You go into executive session when you're talking about hiring,
And
firing,
yes.
promotions, demotions, when you're talking about the work environment and how to eliminate interpersonal issues. That is something that in terms of a personnel committee meeting is appropriate. So the issues that were, or the examples for going into executive session, nobody's getting hired, nobody's getting fired, nobody's getting promoted, nobody's being demoted. Nobody is really, at least as far as here is concerned,
Right now.
being discussed in terms of any crimes of morality or crimes, offenses of morality or crimes. People who have a problem in terms of interaction at the workplace have a right to discuss it and bring it to, particularly when it involves city council, to a public meeting, because the public needs to know if there's any interference with the harmonious, the smooth transaction of public business. And they are affected if there's any hindrance or any obstacles being created that interferes with the smooth, efficient, effective operations of an office. And so that is what is being discussed here, not the categories that are listed under when to go into an executive session. Thank you for your.
Thank you.
Madam Law Director, Madam Cowell.
Yes, and another thing is, even though she give out information, sometimes she twists the information that she's giving out. And if you don't come to council meeting, and if you don't come to the agenda review, we post it online. We have all this stuff is open to the public. What day we have our meetings and everything. So if you don't look online, and if you don't call up to City Hall, because we got clerks that will answer the phone, we'll give you information. So if you want all information, it's free to call. It only take a minute to pick up a phone to call and ask. And we online. So and not only that, we also have Zoom and YouTube. So all information that she can give you, we got it too. So if you want it, all you have to do is ask for it. That's for everybody that wants to know what's going on here at City Hall during our meetings. It's open to the public.
And I'll say this, I get calls from citizens. And they say, well, we call up to City Hall and sometimes we don't, nobody picks up the phone.
Mhm.
So with our clerks.
Our
Tracy
clerks
Green,
pick up the phone,
They're there, because I
and
said,
they faithful.
I don't want to hear that. And they're faithful, they're wise, they know what's going on, and they answer the phone. The only time they don't answer the phone is they're on a break or go to lunch. But I told one thing, they said, what do you want? What do I want? I want them to answer the phone Monday through Friday till 4:30. And I haven't heard any complaints in the last couple of months.
And the reason why you're not getting the information, a lot of people don't get the information, because if you have one person twisting everything and you're gonna believe a lie before you believe the truth, then that's a problem. You need to do your own research and come on these council meetings. We have gender review, we got council meeting, we even got it online, like we said,
Right.
YouTube and everything. We got the information out there. So if you don't have it, it's not our fault.
Brother Smith, I think we said enough here. See anybody else?
Is there anyone else who has comments? Anyone?
Can I respond to what she just said about information?
No.
No, I'm sorry.
Okay, all right,
Is
thank
there
you.
anyone else online that has comments? Anyone?
Okay.
Yeah.
Brother Smith.
Thank you. I'm gonna close out by thanking members of the administration for taking your time out. Thanking Ms. Tracy and her husband who
Yeah.
took time out of her rest to come check on their health, interest, rights, and needs. Really want to thank all our colleagues, our clerk, most importantly, our residents. This is not an easy job.
No, it's not.
As former council president, Ms. Walcott says, if everybody's sitting up here kumbaya and then something is wrong. We are being real transparent with this situation.
Passion.
People who's been keeping up for a few years or years now, they know that just about 2 years ago, we almost had it where the people was saying that they wanted it to go.
Right.
I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. A lot of our residents, they only get half the information. They don't come to the meetings. They don't look at the YouTube video. I beg every meeting. You can just look on the YouTube videos and see exactly what's going on. You can ask for the minutes.
Right.
I can't say about all 5 counselors. We all are all outside the majority of the day. So you can't say you don't see any of us. We all have, well, some of us have events serving the people. It's to the point now where it's funny to me when somebody say, I haven't seen you, where you been?
Okay.
And you know I'm not your regular councilman, so I tell them, you must have been in the house.
Okay.
You must don't come outside. But again, I want to thank everyone. This is a committee meeting, so everyone who showed up today really was checking on your health, interest, rights, and needs. If you realize that it was a committee meeting, not a regular meeting. So hopefully everyone joined us knowing that this was a committee meeting, personnel and appointments. This is the place to discuss these type of issues that we discussed tonight. A lot of situations that the public do not see.
Right.
So we are just being transparent, and some residents are gonna love that we are being transparent and talking about this negative situations. Some residents are not, some are gonna understand, some are not gonna understand. Sometimes, you know this better than me by being here 30 years, sometimes is who gives out information first. That's who the people believe. And
Yeah.
I mean,
And
listen,
it's sad.
to the people of East Cleveland, your very lives are on the line. I don't know, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I see like 6 people online, couple residents here. Our lives are on the line, period. Potholes didn't just get here. All of our negative situations didn't just get here. They've been here. Look and see prior to East Cleveland, prior to, let's just say 2017, 2018, and let's look at it now. You cannot tell me that work has not has not been done. It's not our fault. It's not our fault that Councilwoman Gowdy will bring a list in and says the residents want these demos.
Okay.
It's not our fault that I bring a list in and says the residents want these demos. Well, it's not our fault if the other counselor down in the other ward don't bring in the list from the people that we get from the people. Not just, that's just an example, because some people say, why are things going on in this ward and not this ward and things of that nature, and
The whole city is messed up.
I-
They're trying to come back
absolutely.
together.
Also, I want residents to understand the on paper, because to me, is everything around here is all of our responsibility. But on paper, the job of the council is to allocate expenditures, to authorize the mayor to spend those expenditures. To make laws. We are legislators. The potholes, the grass, the trees, I say it's our responsibility, but it's not our immediate job on paper. The residents, how can I say this in a light way? We all, including the residents, including us, we all have to learn our job titles and learn the job descriptions of each of the three branches of government. I know very wise people that didn't been in East Cleveland for years, but you know, some of them, they still think Iowa is the mayor. And I'm saying, you know, I'm serious. They don't keep up, but and then they pop up, not saying that this happened today, but they pop up at a meeting and say, all right, you know, they say whatever negative that they, you know, I have a resident talking to me all the time about something that went on, and I love her to death, but she always talking to me about something that went on 11 years ago.
Okay.
And trying to blame me.
Okay.
But she names these former mayors, and I say, Miss such and such, that was way before I mean, other people been done. So we just have to keep up with the times, keep up with what's going on. And also we have to, residents and elected officials have to get our hands dirty sometime and get out here with people like Water and help serve the health interest, rights, and needs of the people. And just look into things ourselves. Don't just, especially if you know, it's a lot of knowledgeable people that know a lot of things, but they don't come to the meetings and they still believe that I still know everything, but they haven't paid attention in years. Our lives on the line, we have to stop that. So with that,
Can I say?
anyone else that want to say?
I just want to say that we are a body, we legislate and appropriate, but without our clerks, we can't get anything done. They are the heartbeat of what we do. Tracy and Adria Peters, Patricia Parker are focused, they're professional. Okay, we can't get anything done. Most of the calls come to them, and I've watched how they operate, and they respond to almost everything that comes in. We are respected. Maybe not like on the side, but we respect it. But we can't get anything done if we have two good clerks. Okay, and we have two good clerks. And I feel very positive about it, very good about it. Thanks.
And one more thing, sometimes we might be up here yelling, we might just be up here yelling because we taking up for the people. We love the people and we see exactly what's going on. We're gonna leave off with Dr. Pat.
I just want to make it clear that some of the things that they're saying that I have done are not things that I have done, but things that other people have done. For example, what was happening in the parking lot at the Salvation Army. I was inside when that was happening and I didn't hear about it till later. I did find out that it happened, but I didn't do it. I have not been handing out flyers regarding Counselor Smith. I don't think it's appropriate that we have all these people yelling in these meetings. I don't think it's our business in a council meeting. This is what happens in a Democratic club. And who is and isn't elected city leader, that's politics, and that is not part of what we discuss in council. And I think there has been a lot of confusion in this meeting regarding what is a political action that does not belong in a council meeting, and what is part of the business of city council. And I think we need to be a whole lot more careful
You should quit here.
as to what that is. And I think that when someone accuses someone of lying, yells, I think that's not exactly what we should be dealing with. If he has a specific concern, he could have mentioned his specific concerns. I could mention, if he wants to, I could mention my specific concerns about him. It's not appropriate for a council meeting to discuss some of the things that we discussed tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Madam
This
Chair.
is really, this is not really a council meeting, but this is a discussion and personnel and appointment. It's a committee. It's a difference between council meeting and committee meeting, two different things. As far as you, Dr. Patricia, Dr. Patricia, Madam, Council. It's not what you do, it's how you do it. It's okay the way you talk, but the way we talk, you have a problem with it, because when we talk, and we're gonna talk to you directly, because it's sad that our clerks have to go through all this because of the email and the stuff that you send them, and the behavior that you have outside of council, and the behavior that you have inside of the council clerk office. You know, you really have shown some red flags. We would not be here today if it wasn't for y'all behavior.
Yes.
Y'all need to chill. And you need to give them their proper respect. That's why I'm here.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Any other?
No, we set it up.
We adjourn.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you for
Thank you,
coming.
Mr. Burns. Thank you, Madam Law Director. All right, sorry.
Tracy, good seeing you. Okay.
Take it.
All right.
Hi, Tracy. Take care of yourself. See you soon.
I will. Thank you, sweetie.
Bye-bye.